is all of this stuff? It's because I washed the car, so it rained. Yes, it's all my fault. Anyway, is it a cold start? Yeah, it's kind of cold, 54. Let's do it. Oh yeah, terrific. All right, I'll check back later. Well, okay, here we are. This is the corner that always kind of worries me in this car. I've never actually lost control of this vehicle, but that's the one spot in the rain where, you know, the car started beeping at me. I didn't even know this car beeped, but it will for traction control. Oh boy, he's talking again. Sorry. But yeah, I'm in one of those situations where I was on time and then I decided to stop and pick up food for lunch just to bring with me. And I don't mean to badmouth any particular grocery stores. It just rhymes with Albertsons. That place, or the place that rhymes with Albertsons and sounds exactly like it, that place never disappoints to disappoint. It's amazing. Like, there shouldn't have been anybody in the store at this hour, and instead it was super packed and they only had 2 cashiers. So like, I grabbed the stuff that I needed. I'm telling you, I have long legs and I walk really fast when I'm in a hurry. It couldn't have taken me more than 2.5 minutes to pick out my stuff. And I was in there for 12 minutes. And you know, I mean, I know that's just how it goes sometimes, but it's just when you're in a hurry, you would hope that maybe you'd catch a break. And I'm afraid that perhaps the traffic has picked up due to my little store that sounds like Albertsons stop. But we'll see. Do a little passing power and see if I can make up a little bit of time here. Of course, all within the speed limit, right? Because, you know, you got to be responsible and safe and all of that. Yeah, a little update on the Lexus. I think I know what he's saying. A little update on the Lexus. I need to get it into the shop soon. It is clunky. Like, the suspension sounds are getting worse. You know, somebody said in a comment, and I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but very good comment saying that I should check my, or change my sway bar end links. And yes, I need to. I'm wondering if it's not that instead of the ball joints. Sway bar end links would be a lot cheaper. I feel like I've replaced those already, but you know, maybe they're done. Again, I was reading that like end links tend to last 4 to 6 years. So if they go out within that period of time, it's kind of within the realm of normal. And certainly, I think I'm within 4 to 6 years. I mean, I've had the car 6 years, so anything that I've replaced could be dying again. And that's, you know, that's just kind of the way it is with older cars. Even the great ones, which this one most certainly is. But you know, when you drive an older vehicle with high mileage, you know, stuff just wears out either due to age or due to miles. And you know, I'm sure if I'd been driving this car more the last 2 years, you know, if I had not bought the Optima plug-in, yeah, I'm sure a lot of this stuff would have broken, like even more. So again, not mad at the car. It's just one of those things that I have to get sorted, you know, as soon as possible. I'm just not sure what to do. I just can't find a good day to get this to the shop. I mean, I suppose I could drive my Corvette for a day. I just need to get the muffler situation taken care of because, I mean, I literally go deaf when I drive that car. if I take a 40, 50 minute, an hour drive in it on the freeway, and if I'm going speeds of around 60 to 65, I'll end up with a pretty intense ring in my ears, and I feel like I'm saying "huh" all day, because I just, my ears are just kind of beaten. And I've tried putting in headphones, or not headphones, but I've tried headphones, but I've also tried earplugs, and that didn't really help at all, because it's such a low frequency that it just kind of bounces around inside your head. It's hard to explain, but that drone is just really bad. If you saw my car rolling around on the street, you'd be like, dude, that exhaust is awesome. What are you complaining about? That is the best sounding Corvette. I'm not saying I have the best sounding Corvette, but it sounds really good. Like really, really good. But it's too much, man. Like I just can't deal with it. Maybe when I was younger, but I don't know. I mean, I had a Firebird that had Flowmasters on it. I had a Corvette that had Flowmasters on it. And both of those sounded awesome, and there really wasn't like much drone on the freeway. It was just kind of like throaty and beefy when I'd romp on it. And then the rest of the time it was just like, you'd kind of hear in the back. But it wasn't, it really wasn't anything that would hurt my ears. And then I had a Mustang GT. I put some Flowmasters on that. And, that one was pretty gnarly, but still, once I had like both pipes hooked up, it was fine. For a while, I was just running like, I think I was running like one tailpipe and then one muffler that was just exiting straight. And dude, that was loud. There were some kids on my street that were like way into my car. So they're like, man, that thing sounds awesome. That's the best sounding Mustang ever. And there was nothing special about it. It was a 96 GT convertible with a 5-speed. It made no power, and it looked like a nightmare. It was 4 different colors of red, and the top, when I bought it, it had a black top that had big rips in it. And then I bought a new top. Okay, let me correct that. I bought another top off some guy on Craigslist for like $200. I had that swapped over, like frame and all. And then the frame was bent, so that was a bummer. So it didn't really line up very well. The latches didn't really work. And then that started tearing. That wasn't worth the money. So anyway, there was always just horrific wind noise with the top up. And then of course with the top down, it was a convertible, so lots of noise. But yeah, the exhaust sounded great. When I wasn't running, when I finally got both like exhaust pipes hooked up, it sounded really sweet. Like it was loud, but not too loud, just pretty loud. That was a fun car. I really regret selling that. I sold it to my friend Anthony for like not much money, and maybe 6 months later he totaled it. It wasn't like I don't think it was his fault. He got rear-ended, but really bummed that car met its death so quickly. I put what seemed like a lot of money. I guess for like a jump car, it was a lot of money. I had to replace the steering column. I did the motor mounts, transmission mounts, radiator, intake manifolds, spark plugs, wires, coil packs, rear end differential fluid, transmission fluid. What else broke? Oh yeah, windshield, the convertible top, replaced the struts, did new tires, did new wheels. I'm sure there was some other miscellaneous breakdowns. It was a Ford after all. Although that was a pretty reliable car, all things considered. Yeah, I did the spark plugs twice. I was chasing a miss. Like it was running perfectly, and then if I'd kind of run it up a slight grade in like 3rd or 4th gear, it would just stumble sometimes, you know, and my shop couldn't figure it out. You know, they said, well, there's no check engine light, there's nothing we can do, which I thought was ridiculous. And turns out I put in new spark plugs. I guess they were auto light. And, you know, I think I was actually watching Scotty Kilmer. You know, I'm going to say a lot of things about Scotty Kilmer on this channel, and a lot of them won't be good. And I have to say, that was back, I mean, we're talking probably 2012. So his channel wasn't the empire that it is now. And I felt like the content he was putting out back then was all very, you know, he really kind of curated his content a little better. Like every video was pretty much instructional, and then on Saturdays he would have his kind of, I don't want to call it a call-in show, but he would take questions on like a live chat kind of situation. And I tried to contact him and ask him the question of like, hey, why is my car stumbling? Nobody can figure this out. And but I think somebody else asked kind of like a very similar question, and he said, oh yeah, you know, sometimes what happens, you know, you can have like a crack in your spark plug, and that crack can cause a misfire. And I guess it was like a crack in the porcelain. I was like, huh, you know, he might be right. And so I just, on a whim, decided, you know, that I would buy some, like a set of Motorcraft spark plugs. And, I mean, because really, folks, it's easy to kind of get sucked into the aftermarket with all this car stuff. And you think, oh, you know, I need to get, you know, whatever I saw on this tuner show or whatever. But really, like, if you want your car to just run well, and you're not running forced induction, you know, some sort of turbo or supercharger, you're not running forged internals, you're not doing a cam, all of that stuff, and you just want your car to be like the way it's supposed to be, like the way it was designed, the way the manufacturer spent millions of dollars to make it run, get the OEM parts. And you'd be surprised, a lot of the times you can find OEM stuff even at AutoZone. And I know I've said a lot of things about AutoZone that aren't necessarily positive, but I mean, they've really come through for me in a pinch. And I think I bought the Motorcraft plugs at AutoZone, or maybe it was O'Reilly's, but you know, it was one of the major parts stores. And I got my Motorcraft plugs, and I put them in myself, and all of a sudden the car was just like, it was ready to go. It was like perfect, totally smooth, revved completely smooth, no more stumbling. That was really a good call. A very good call. So the moral of the story, always go for OEM if you can find it. And if you can't, you know, you can't. I've seen a lot of the shops, they'll use that parts supplier, I think it's World Pack. And I don't know if they sell to individuals, but you know, I think that's where, I think they sell a lot of the OEM stuff to the mechanics. It's really kind of hard to find OEM stuff, especially if you're trying to do it same day. Now, if you're working on your car at home, something breaks, good luck. You know, if you can't find it at one of the, you know, one of the big parts stores, you're probably not gonna find it. And of course, the dealerships may not have it, or they're gonna mark it up. Here's another trick. When I've been at most dealership parts counters, for some of their parts, not all of them, certain parts just cost what they cost, but you can actually negotiate a little bit at these parts counters. I was considering ordering a set of floor mats for the minivan, and I really should have done it. I don't know why I didn't. I was just being cheap. I admit it. But I asked I said, how much are these floor mats? And they quoted me some, you know, like $215 or something. I mean, it was a lot of money. And I said, oh man, that's a lot. I mean, is that the lowest price you can sell those for? And he's like, oh, I could do 190 or something like that. I mean, he took like 20, 25 bucks off, like just because I asked. So whenever you're ordering something, if the price seems a little high, why don't you ask if there's a better price? You know, I mean, sometimes it feels a little bit like a scumbag move, but I don't know. I think those dealerships do some scumbag moves. So, you know, if you do you, figure it out. But that really does work out pretty well at times. Oh, and I also, like, credit where credit's due. And this traffic is not good. I'm gonna see if I can make up a little room here, just a little bit. Speaking of spark plugs, I feel like this car,
In 900 feet,
man, I don't know how long my Kia is going to be down. I'm going to end up like rebuilding this car before I get the Kia back. I don't know. This dude doesn't want to let me in. Come on, man. I'll have a classic Lexus out. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, I did want to give credit where credit's due to AutoZone. And I really don't want to jinx this. I'm afraid to say this, but you know, the other day I was telling a story about how my power steering pump and alternator went out when I was in Las Vegas. Well, the power steering pump died again. Okay, like probably a year later, maybe 2 years. I can't remember. I had it changed at the shop. They didn't realize I had a lifetime replacement warranty from AutoZone, so that just cost me another $400. But the alternator that I bought at AutoZone, and again, oh, please don't strike me down for saying this. It's been great. It still works. I think it works fine. Oh, I'm so afraid now. Please. Don't go out on me.
Go straight on 8 minutes to I-5 South Santa Ana.
But yeah, I was really afraid of getting an alternator from AutoZone, but it's been good. Fingers crossed. Like, we're in year 5 or year 6. I sure hope it keeps charging for me. You know, the problem is, like, on this engine, getting to the alternator is, you know, it's a little more involved than, say, on an LS, you know, V8, you know, the LS, Chevy LS. You know, it's a little bit more down and in, so there's just a little more labor involved in changing that. But, you know, luckily these motors don't seem to break that often. At least I hope not. I'm curious about the spark plugs. You know, when I bought the car at 140,000 miles, my mechanic pulled the plugs, or pulled a couple, said they looked great. That was at 140,000. Now we're at 232, and I don't know, that the car still has plenty of poke. Like, it'll scoot, but the thing that kind of is a little concerning is, like, at around half throttle, as we're kind of going through the rev range, it just feels a little, and I mean a little, like, if you didn't know this car the way I do, you wouldn't notice probably, but I just feel a slight kind of hesitation. I wouldn't even call it a stumble. It's just kind of some uneven spots in the rev band, and I can't help but wonder if maybe the ignition system might need a little attention, namely the spark plugs, since they do wear out. I think, like, the coil packs are probably fine, probably. But I mean, that's going to be an expensive job at a shop. That may be something that I do myself under my tree. But I don't know. It's running okay right now, so I may just, you know, sometimes it's like, if there's no problem, don't create a problem, you know. And it's running okay. I've done tune-ups on cars, you know, replaced plugs and wires and cap and rotor. I mean, I'm talking the older cars. The car was running fine. I threw $200 worth of parts at it, and it ran fine. there was no change. So sometimes I kind of think like, yeah, preventative maintenance is great, but do you really need to do it? Like, is it really necessary to spend the money? I think there's a certain mileage where you should just say, well, okay, it's been this many miles, it's still running great, but, you know, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to do this. And I think there's a lot of wisdom to that. But there were other cars where I was just bored. I thought, well, you know, it's probably around the mileage. I should probably do this. It'll probably run better. And then, you know, I'd drive it. Oh, yeah, it definitely feels stronger. Nah, it didn't. It was the same. You know, I was just, maybe I had less money in my wallet, so the car was faster, you know. It wasn't weighed down with all of those stacks of 20s, you know. So that's what I think. That's my guess. This traffic looks terrible. I have a long way to go still. I have a long way to go. And yeah, and I need to be there in the next 40 minutes. I'm just not sure if that's possible. But, you know, I'm going to follow my buddy here in the Tesla. You know, if I can keep up, I know they're super fast. They're super wonderful. And truth be told, I would love to be in a Model S with autopilot right about now. That would be sweet. Hey, what do you guys think? Model S or Model 3? What's your jam? I like the Model S. That's where my heart is. I think the hatch is cool. Well, I guess the Model 3 has a hatch too. But, you know, the Model S is just a slightly larger car, and that appeals to me. I'm sure the 3 has plenty of room, but I kind of like the idea of the S better. But, like, you know, I guess given the choice, if you could buy, let's say, like a 2018 Model 3 for, let's just say $35,000 was the budget, and you're not going to find that car for 35 grand, but let's just say you could. Okay, let's say so we're talking, let's say a Model 3 with, I don't know, 30,000 miles, right? Or like a 2015 Model S with 50,000 miles for the same price. Like, what do you do? You know, which one do you pick? I think that's a tough one. I'm sure a lot of people would say, well, buy the newer car because it's electric and you want the newer battery and the newer technology. And I mean, that probably would be the smart play, especially since there are no third party. Well, I don't want to say no third party. I think EV West is out here, but I think they're on the west side. That's a pain in the you-know-what for me. You know, I mean, you'd just be kind of forced to take it to Tesla if you had a problem. So I don't know, but you know, the Model S is, I think, much more car, or at least it appears that way to me. I don't know. So maybe some of you know more about the Teslas than I do. It's certainly one of those cars that I have a fascination with, and you know, definitely one that I want to consider getting. Is this the Model Y in front of me? I think it's the dual motor one. So they dropped some coin on that one, man. And my buddy Dave has one. I really want to check that out. I've only just kind of drooled at it in the parking lot, which has been, you know, which was fun. But hopefully we can take a spin sometime. But yeah, let me know what you think. Model S or Model 3? What would you do? How comfortable do you feel buying an older EV? Like, how old is too old? I think 2012, 2011 for me. Like, that's 2013. That's too old. 2014? Maybe. I'm just worried about that battery pack, man. That's 22 to 25 thou to replace from Tesla. Maybe you could take it somewhere else and have the cells balanced. I don't know, question mark. But that's going to cost you $5,000-$6,000 to fix that. Now, like we see the Prius in front of us, that car, you know, if that battery, if that battery bricks itself, you're looking at anywhere from $1,200 to $5,000 to replace. But really, if you think about it, you know, that's going to be about the same cost as replacing a transmission in really any modern car. So I think the deal with the hybrids, if you're worried about the battery pack, you know, I think what I would tell you is, like, you should worry about your transmission too, because that's expensive. The battery pack is not necessarily going to go bad, right? It will someday, but you could have it a long time. I know a dude who has a Lexus RX 400H. I don't know if he still has it, but when I saw him, he had 280,000 miles on it, and he was rocking the original hybrid battery. No problems, still returning 24 to 26 miles per gallon. You know, and I thought that was dang impressive. So, anyway, folks, I'm going to focus on this traffic and see if I can make up some time, and I will check back later.
Go straight on.
Well, howdy, folks. We've made it to the end of the day. Or
go straight on for 6 minutes to I-210 West.
He always interrupts me. It never fails. But yeah, as I was saying, we have made it to the end of the workday, and you know, on my way back. So that's nice. You know, as Lucky's Wheels and Deals always says, sometimes I watch his channel, says the grind don't stop, man. And that's, you know, I like that. The grind don't stop. And so here we are, it's 8 o'clock, something like that. Yeah, it's 62 degrees. Just to give you an idea of the kind of traffic and stuff we dealt with today. Tank average 20.3, so my miles per gallon is definitely going down a wee bit, and that's due to lots of traffic. 93 miles since refuel. As you can see, we're down a quarter tank, a little more than a quarter at this point. Lapse time 2 hours 28 minutes, and it's actually a little bit more than that because I think I had forgotten to reset that. So it's probably like 2 hours and 38 minutes of driving. Average 38 miles per hour. And there you have it. So I greatly appreciate you tuning in, hanging out with me as we do a little driving together. It's always a pleasure. Last night I was able to deal with the suction cup spots. As you can see from the light hitting, there was still some smearing going on. It looks like scratches, but it's just all that melted rubber just kind of smeared. So what I did is I took a razor blade and with some glass cleaner, and I used the automotive glass cleaner. I didn't use Windex. I just used the I can't remember what it's called, clear glass, or I don't know. It comes in a kind of thing. So, you know, scrape that off, and as you can see, definitely got the suction cup marks off. But, you know, I think the razor blade kind of quickly picked up a lot of the rubber, and so it just started smearing it. So what I need to do is probably get a couple more razor blades and a couple more microfibers, and just spend some time on it. And hopefully I can do that in the next couple of days. Trying to decide what I want to do tomorrow. I definitely have to go to work. I know that much. So I'm going to go to work, but I don't know if I want to wake up early and try and get this car over to George and see if we can find out what that clunk is in the front end. But I just don't think he's going to be able to fix it quickly enough so that I'll have the car to take to work. You know what I mean? So And then like the same thing Wednesday. I mean, I could take the Corvette. It's just like I said, it's a little deafening. And I mean, I don't know. I don't have time to get the exhaust switched out tomorrow either. Or Wednesday or Thursday. Maybe Friday if I really like, I get up early and do everything right. I don't know. I just don't know. In any case, I guess that's just me saying I don't know. I should have thought about that more. But again, I appreciate you watching. Please like. There, you can see that. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Here we go. Come on, Lexus, let's burn some gas. Oh, yeah. Look at that passing power. We're going like straight uphill. And I accelerated from 55 to 55. Really good. Anyway, see ya next time. Bye-bye.